Welcome to another edition of Play Branson, where we go in depth with stars and give you the latest updates on what's happening in Branson. Haley, welcome. It's good to have you here again with us, as always.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
I appreciate all the hard work you do on this program. You do a lot of the behind-the-scenes things, and I don't know that we've ever told people that before, so you're kind of responsible for making a lot of this happen.
Just a little bit. Yeah, I enjoy it. Thank you for letting me be a part of it.
So, folks, here's some things that are coming up this actually tomorrow. Michael Jackson is added to the Legends in Concert lineup, and so the guy that does that does an excellent job, and so that's coming up tomorrow. And then May 22nd, Legends in Concert is going to update their lineup again and add Brooks and Dunn and Celine Dion. So a lot of things going on over there. If you're watching us on YouTube, we'd encourage you to go over to facebook.com/Play Branson. Or is that? Yeah, that is /. I always get forward and backwards messed up. But go over there to Play Branson and be the first to see our new episodes, see some behind-the-scenes photos, and give us your feedback. Let us know who you want to see, and that'll help us in future shows on who we interview. The other thing we do have coming out soon, we have a new magazine called Play Branson that will be coming out soon, so we're kind of excited about that.
It's going to be very exciting.
So focused on the show and entertainment industry and attractions here in town. And you know what is just around the corner is summer.
I cannot wait.
And so a lot happening in Branson this summer.
Yes, well, obviously there's a ton of attractions that families will have to check out. The Runaway Coaster, we've got the Trax Family Fun Park, so you've got go-karts, mini golf, and the bumper boats, of course, too.
And so with the summer also, lakes. And so, you know, sometimes people come to Branson, they don't realize that we have 3 lakes in the immediate area. And you don't have to go to Florida to go to a beach. You can go to Moonshine Beach here, and you can jet ski, you can parasail, you can do diving, all sorts of fishing. And so that's a whole other component of Branson that really adds to I think the vacation experience.
Absolutely.
And so the other thing that is coming up June 16th, another what we call a one-off around here, a one-off concert called Home Free. It's a band, and you were kind of showing me a YouTube video of them.
I was. It's going to be very fun.
And so first time they've been to Branson.
Yes.
And that'll be at the Mansion Theater on June 16th at 8 p.m.
It's going to be fun. Well, another thing to do for sure in the summer is to come see some shows. And with families coming, it's always fun to come to shows and laugh. And we've got a comedian with us today from Pierce Arrow, Mr. James Sibley. So stay with us and we'll welcome him when we come back.
The Best Western Music Capital Inn. It's Branson's ultimate hotel, located across from the famous Shoji Tabuchi Theater. Relax in the indoor pool and hot tub. Enjoy the free hot breakfast every day. Gather in the lobby to reconnect with friends and family. For more information or to make reservations, call 877-334-8378.
Welcome back to Play Branson. My name is Chris Meyer, and I am here today with James Sibley. James, it's good to have you here.
Good to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
And so you're with the Pierce Arrow Theater.
I am, yes, I am.
Over at on Shepherd of the Hills Expressway.
Shepherd of the Hills, right across from Shoji's place. Yeah, they've been there for nearly 20 years now.
20 years.
One of the older shows in town.
And so you're the resident comedian.
I am, unless you know something I don't know. I'm going to work tonight. Yeah. I've been this. I'm starting my 3rd season, and I used to come and fill in. Paul Harris was the comedian there when they first opened up that theater, and I came back here in 2001 and 2, and I used to fill in for him when he would take vacations, and then they hired another guy after Paul left, and I've been doing the road and being a comic on the road for about 20 years, and the call came up. I just got married again 2 years ago, and instead of being on the road, I thought I would be home, wake up with my beautiful wife every morning. So we moved back to Branson. I love living here. It's a great place to live.
So tell us how you got started in the whole comedy business. I mean, how'd that happen?
It was ordered by a judge. No, I did musical theater. Well, I sang for a long time in different bands, and then when I got married the first time, I figured I didn't need to be in bars anymore, so I started doing theater instead. I started doing plays where I lived back home, and In 1992, I got lucky. I got to go do a show called Unsolved Mysteries. You ever seen Unsolved Mysteries?
I haven't.
Yeah, because you're young. That's why I pointed to you. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I remember it.
I got to go do that in 1992, and there was a bank robbery close to where I lived in Asheville, North Carolina. They never solved it, so they ran a segment on the show, and they hired local people, and I got to play one of the bank robbers in the reenactment. Man, that was really neat, too. It was really cool, and my mom saw me on TV and called me, and about 2 days after it ran on television for the first time, I'm sitting at home, there's a knock on the door, and I go to the door, and it's the police. Somebody had seen me at the grocery store and went, that's that bank robber guy right there. And they followed me to my house and called the cops on me. And when the policeman came to the door, he was really nice to me. He's like, sir, we need to talk to you about a bank robbery. And I was all excited. I was like, the one in Asheville? I know all about it. Which turns out is the wrong thing to say when the cops come to your house about a bank robbery.
Oh, my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. And I've been kind of doing acting, and I got into comedy through that. And it's hard to make a living as an actor. It really is. Unless you live in L.A. or New York, it's really hard to make a living as an actor. So comedy kind of came up, and it was kind of, I guess, a natural. I've always been kind of the class clown, I guess. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know I am not funny. I know that.
Well, there's things you do around your friends that you can make your friends laugh. You can play that character. You can use that voice or whatever around your buddies, and they'll start laughing. You know what I'm talking about. Most people have a general good sense of humor, I think.
Yeah. And so you toured really around the country for 20 years doing this.
Yeah, I've been everywhere. Yeah, and I did Carnival Cruise Lines for about 15 years too. So, yeah, it's pretty neat. Whenever somebody comes to the show, I'll ask them where they're from, and they'll say I'm from wherever, and I'll say, oh, that's right. And they get amazed that I know where they live at. I know streets where they live at, because I've literally been just about everywhere. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like the Johnny Cash song, kind of.
Been
But I am
everywhere.
kind of upset. I thought there were going to be refreshments here. Somebody said,
Oh no.
I
There are gonna
actually
be
do have, I
sandwiches.
forgot to tell you I have
see.
water.
oh, well, okay,
Well, I do
that's
have
kind of
water out there,
refreshing.
but we'll get that at the break. We'll get
Okay.
that at the break.
All
But
right.
it was kind of funny, like even right before this thing, you didn't realize you were going to be on TV.
No, I didn't know it was television, or I would have dressed a lot nicer. I have one tuxedo, and that's the one we buried my grandfather in, but it still smells all formaldehyde. Yeah, you don't want to.
No.
So they sent you to the wrong place.
Now, I don't want to say that really. They said one place, and I interpreted it as the place that I was supposed to
Right,
go,
right.
and it
But-
turns out I was wrong. Yeah.
But hey, you're here. We're having fun.
Having a great time,
That's,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the main thing.
yeah.
So
Now you were on a couple different TV shows. Now I saw the Gilmore Girls. Is that true?
Yes, I was on the Gilmore Girls.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was in Echo Hollow. Is that the name of the place?
Could
Stars
be.
Hollow.
Stars Hollow,
Hollow.
yes,
That's it.
yes.
In the restaurant, I was just one of the people there sitting there eating, and
Okay.
it was at this season final. What's so bad is I've never seen the show. I was on Gilmore Girls, and I was on My Name Is Earl, and I have never watched a single episode of anything
no.
that I was on. I kind of don't like watching myself on TV or the stuff I've done. I've got Facebook videos and all. I mean, YouTube videos up, and I hardly ever watch them. I get a lot of comics do that. A lot of people, they will tape themselves and listen to themselves again, but I don't know why I don't do that. I have never written a joke down in my life.
oh my goodness.
Believe it or not, I've never written out a single joke for myself. I'll write bullet points or, a word, and I know what that joke is, and that's about it. But I've written for other people. I've been fortunate. I wrote for Yakov when I came here years ago. I got to write for his Broadway show. Very nice guy. Yakov's a really nice guy. He's a really neat guy.
So when you write a joke, do you like pitch it to them and then they buy it, or how does that work in the comedy world?
Like for Garel Hammond, the guy that played on Saturday Night Live for years and years and years, he was I think he's the longest running cast member they ever had. I wrote several jokes for him that he would do when he was on Conan, and so he would say, I'm going on Conan, I need 3 or 4 jokes, and I would pitch him which ones, and he'd say, I want this one and I want that one. And I wrote for Jeff Dunham, kind of the same way. You just kind of throw stuff out and see what they're interested in, which direction they're wanting to go. Obviously clean, I write clean jokes, and when you're doing television, it's got to be that way. So that's the way it is. You just kind of throw something out if they like it. I'm really good, or I think I'm very good at watching somebody else's set and saying, hey, you should say this there, or you should say that there. And for some reason, I can't look at my own set and say, hey, I should say this there. But maybe that's why I don't, since I don't watch myself on TV, maybe it would help
there
me
you
to
go.
watch myself on TV, yeah.
Well, we'll be back in just a minute. Just check out this quick video about Pierce Arrow, and we'll be back with James in just a second.
It's alright, have a good time, 'cause it's alright, oh, it's alright.
Welcome to the Pierce area. Welcome to the Pierce area.
Think it's easy?
Yeah.
All right, hey, what's your try it, old man? Come on.
When I get done, you're going to say, my, is there no end to that boy's talent? Or maybe not.
Welcome back to Play Branson. We're here with James Sibley, who is the comedian at Pierce Arrow. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
You know, Pierce Arrow has really, they really emphasize the comedy and the funny aspect of their theater and show. And so you play a pretty darn big role in the show, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not paid for it, but yeah, I do. No, they do. I mean, they've had, and I don't feel competitive towards anybody else here in town. So they've had Paul Harris, who's a great comedian. They had Jared Doherty, who was there for years, who
Right.
kind of helped build that theater up, and he was very funny. And I'm there now, and I feel like I'm doing a good job. We have people that come back. You know, we're still there. I mean, we're still open, so I must be
Right.
doing okay.
So you do, I mean, do you do several different segments, right? Is that right? Or?
Yeah, I play a character. I play the janitor of the theater. So it's kind of like the comedian didn't show up and the janitor's going to fill in, and that's the premise for the show. And it's a good vehicle to get me on stage. And I'm always kind of you were asking about comedy, man. I've always kind of approached it like I'm an actor doing a character I created in a script I wrote. I never thought of myself exactly as a stand-up comic. I'm more of an actor doing a character I developed in scripts and jokes that I wrote. Yeah.
Okay.
So performing comedy each night, has there been one moment that has just been the funniest moment in your career so far?
Gosh, I don't know if there's been one moment. I mean, there's been several moments when I've had to ask somebody to leave. You know, when you're in a comedy club, obviously when people get inebriated or whatever,
Right.
you have to send them out. But there's been a couple of times here in Branson. Branson is family friendly. You can come to our show and you're not going to hear anything that's going to embarrass you if you bring kids or anything like that. I pride myself on that.
That's good.
But there's been a couple of times that I've asked the audience, I do audience interaction, and they've said something inappropriate. And it's kind of like, I don't know how to say it. It's like the audience, it gets a good reaction because I didn't say it. I had nothing to do with it, but the audience was kind of feeling that same way themselves. I said it the other night. I asked a question about people being married, who married somebody, divorced them, and then remarried the same person. That's one of the jokes that I have. And I say, who out there did that? And this woman raised her hand, and I said, are y'all together? And her response was not a response that I can repeat here, but she said it in front of 400 people. And the joke to that to me is, you know, we've all got friends who married somebody, divorced them, remarried them, and I'm divorced. And for me, that would have been like getting a chicken salad sandwich and taking a big bite out of it and getting food poisoning and getting out of the hospital and going back home and going, I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to try that thing one more time.
Man alive. Well, and that's the thing is you have to be quick also on your feet sometime when you ask those type of questions because you don't know what's going to happen.
That's right. And I did come from an improv background, doing improv theater, and we actually, I know I'm here to talk about Pierce Arrow, I'm not trying to plug anything else, but we've started an improv troupe here in Branson.
Oh,
We did
really?
our first show last year. It's got Tony Turner, who's in Pierce Arrow also. He's one of our featured singers, and some different people from different shows in town. We've all got together and formed an improv troupe, and it's a good exercise for acting, for entertaining, for all of that. I think, to me, improv is the highest form of entertainment, you know, just a free form and all that kind of, just whatever comes in your head. So, yeah, I love doing that. I love open it up and seeing what happens. It's really neat.
So how did you like just find out about Branson? Because I know you said you were filling in, but was that through an agent, or how did you?
Yeah,
how did you come
I actually
to that?
got a call one night. I was at home. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. That's where I've lived for the past 20 years. My kids still live there. And I got a call one night in 2002 that said, can you get to Branson, Missouri by Friday? I think is when I was supposed to be there, and that was Wednesday. And this is about a 15-hour drive.
Yeah,
and I
long
said,
drive.
yeah, I can go. And I talked to the girl that was running the place, and this is before I didn't even have a cell phone at that time. And I took off coming, and I barely talked to her. And I stopped somewhere along the way, and I had already driven 8 hours, and I stopped to talk to her and said, hey, I'm on my way. And she goes, oh, never mind, we already got it filled. And I said, oh, man, I've already driven. She goes, I'm just kidding. Hurry up and get here. So I got here, and when I got here, I came, and I'll never forget this. Dan Britton, who runs Pierce Arrow, he does a great job. He's my boss, and I love him to death. He held the record for the lowest voice in the world for 18 years. He was the Guinness record holder of that. And when I came there and saw the show the first time, I was always a bass singer. You know, that's what I always did. And when they brought me up on stage the first night, I didn't know any of these people. I'd not met them before the show, and they just reach out in the audience and grab me and bring me up on stage and started having me singing. And we just kind of hit it off from there. Everybody was really cool. Everybody in Branson, all the theaters and all the entertainers really get along good. There's not a sense of competition, I don't think, and I don't think there's any kind of we're better than that show, we're better than that show. It's just different. You know, it's kind of like walking in Baskin Robbins. You know, there's 31 different flavors out there, and each one deserves to be there. Different people like those flavors, and we're one of those flavors. You know, we're one of the flavors that's in the case.
So if someone has never seen the Pierce Arrow show, if you were to just kind of describe what their experience is going to be like when they go to the show.
You're going to get great music. It's music that it doesn't matter how old you are. There's going to be a song that you hear that you enjoy, that you love. It's going to be one of your favorite songs, and chances are you're going to hear a song that you don't know, and we hope that you take that away as a favorite song too. You're going to be exposed to probably a song or two that you haven't heard. It's going to be family-friendly comedy that you don't have to worry about. I brought my grandson here, and I hope they don't say anything.
Right.
I don't even come close to saying anything bad, and I don't think you have to. I don't say anything remotely. If I always kind of figure if you have to explain it to an 8-year-old kid, you shouldn't say it in the first place.
Right.
So that's kind of it, and we get a lot of comedy and a lot of good music. I think that's it. We've got some of the Bobby Blackburn, our guitar player, has won Guitarist of the Year. Our bass player, Randy McConnell, has run Bass Player of the Year. So you get great musicians, great singers, and then me.
Yeah. And so last year, like on all the posters in town, you were kind of sporting a little Donald Trump do. And do you still do? And
I didn't do any Donald. That was just something we threw in for an advertising.
Okay.
He was saying Make America Great Again, so we had a little campaign that was Make Branson Funny Again.
Okay. Yes.
And I just wore the wig. I don't do impressions really. I'm not really good at that. I can do one impression. I can do like Lurch from the Addams Family. You remember him? You rang. That's about it. I can do James Earl Jones. I can do This is CNN. Pretty
There you
good.
go.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's as far as my impressions go.
And so, but now the poster has you with an apple to your ear. So
Yeah.
is there something about that,
It's
or
a
is
banana.
that?
It's a banana.
Okay, yeah, it's
like
a banana.
telephone. Because just like I said, doing improv last year, I had a bit where I took out my cell phone and talked, and it was a small joke that I had, but I started doing an improvisational bit with the audience that turned out to be. It's very organic. It just grew on stage into a great bit, and so Seth, Dan's son, who kind of does our marketing and stuff, he came up with the idea of doing that, and it was just a funny shot. It was a funny picture,
Okay.
That'll be in the show for a while. It works really good because it's complete audience participation. It's a kind of fill in the blank. You know, I was walking down the street and I found a what did I find? I found
A dog.
A dog. I found a dog around his neck. He had
A collar.
a collar. Yeah, and it said "Return to
A cat.
a cat." Return to a cat. Yeah. So it's kind of like that, and the audience really gets into it. And some of their response, like you were talking about, what happens on stage. As you remember, some of the responses they give, You just go, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Grandma's kind of dirty. Grandma has some weird thoughts in her head.
Well, James, it's been great
Oh,
talking
man, it's been
to you
great,
today.
great.
And
Thank
folks,
you so much, guys.
Folks, here's the deal. If you're in Branson, be sure to go check out Pierce Arrow. They have a great variety show, lots of comedy. You're going to laugh. And I'm going to guess, James, you're going to guarantee they're going to laugh, right?
I'll guarantee you laugh. Yeah, and we have 2 shows a day, 3 and 8 o'clock. Both shows are different. Both music and comedy is different. And I guarantee you have a good time. And
So go see Pierce Arrow when you're in town. Be sure to go to ibranson.com or call 1-877-ENTERTAIN to purchase your tickets. They can help you with your entire Branson vacation. And this wraps up another episode of Play Branson. Have a great day.